resting your hands on your knees or bringing your hands to heart center, closing your eyes if you'd like, and just start taking some deep inhales and exhales. And these first few moments are just about relaxing, letting go of your day, and breathing. As you're sitting here, notice if your shoulders are up near your ears, kind of crunched up. Try to relax those shoulders down. Notice if your posture, you're curving through your spine. Bring your chest up, roll your shoulders back, engage your core. And as you breathe here, just try to relax as much as possible. Try to let go of all thoughts. Remembering that yoga is part a physical practice and part a mental practice. So what we're trying to do here is to not think about anything else for this next hour. Letting go of the grocery lists or what we're having for dinner or the emails that you have to send or whatever it is. Let's take some clearing breaths together. So a nice deep inhale through your nose and an exhale through your mouth. Good, again, inhale, filling up. Exhale, clearing out. One more deep inhale. And a big clearing exhale. Wonderful. We're going to move and start in child's pose today. So we're going to start with child's pose legs to start, actually. So your knees are going to go to the wide edges of your mat. All right. From here, your big toes are going to come together behind you. And then you're going to attempt to sit back on your heels as much as you can. If you have a really tight hips, your hips may be floating off the ground. That's totally fine. You can use your hands in front of you to kind of balance you out. But what we want to try to do here is sink those hips down as much as possible. Now you should feel a nice stretch through your legs here, through your quads and your calves, your shins, your ankles. If this is super uncomfortable on your knees, you can always move your knees in closer to hips width distance instead of knees to the edges of your mat. Just take some nice even breaths here. Good, and then let's release all the way forward into a child's pose. So walk those hands and arms forward, resting your head against the mat. Now, if your knees are at hips width distance apart, you may feel like you're too far forward with your arms stretched out. So you can always move your hands and arms down next to your legs as another option here. In this child's pose, what I'd like you to do is just rock your head back and forth, massaging your forehead out against your mat or your floor. Continuing to try to relax and release and let go. Good. Let's walk your hands and arms to the right side. You may go as far as off the mat here. I am definitely off my mat. And then I'm placing my left hand on top of my right hand, and I'm drawing my left hip back and down. Should feel a nice opening through your side body, into your left hip flexor, or even into your lower back here on that left side. And then just continue with those nice even breaths. Walking your hands and arms back through center, and then go to the left side. Maybe placing your right hand on top of your left and then drawing that right hip back and down. Again, feeling this nice opening through the side body. Closing your eyes here is a wonderful, wonderful idea. Good, walking those hands back to center. We're going to do another variation of child's pose here. So we're going to do thread the needle arms with child's pose legs. So our legs are going to stay exactly where they are. Our left hand, we're going to start on the left side. Our left hand is going to come towards your head, towards your face, and then it's going to go all the way to the right side underneath your right armpit. So there should be this little hole that you've created as you're here. Your left arm swings all the way through that hole, resting your head down against the mat. You should feel a nice opening through your left shoulder. Just breathing into this space. You should honestly feel it on the side of your shoulder and all the way through the back. Maybe if you have a tight neck or a tight upper back, you're feeling it more in that area. But you should really feel it under that shoulder blade, nice and deep. Good, we're going to come back through center, and then we're going to go to the other side. So this right hand comes down in front of your face, and then slides all the way to that left side, going into that little space that that left arm has created. Rest towards that left side for these thread the needle arms with child's pose legs. Feeling this nice stretch through your shoulders. Good, let's release back. We're in child's pose for one more variation. Here, I want you to keep your hips down to your heels as far as they can go. And then come up on tented fingertips. So what tented fingertips means is that you're coming up onto the pads of your fingers so that it should give you a little bit of height here. And your wrist should be like should feel a nice opening through your shoulders, your armpits, your neck, your upper back, into your lats and kind of down the sides of your arms as well. Good. Let's push up to a tabletop position. So for tabletop, we are aligning our shoulders right over our elbows, over our wrists, and our hips right over our knees. And then we're going to start in on some cat-cows, inhaling forward, pushing out through your head and through your butt. And then exhale, curving up, getting all of your air out. And then we're just going to continue with these cat-cows, inhaling forward, exhale, curving up. Trying to connect breath with movement here. Now, if it feels good to pause in a cat or a cow and take some breaths, feel free to. Or if you want to add in some organic movements, swaying your hips side to side, doing some hip circles, some body circles, whatever feels good here. And the same thing as you're doing these organic movements, if it feels good to pause in any of these and take some breaths, feel free to. You know, that some of these kind of open up the hips, open up the lower back a little bit more. It's just all these small adjustments that you're making in your body, and each body is different, and you'll feel this in different spaces. All right, wonderful. Come back to tabletop. So we're going to do a bunch of leg floor stretches today. Now, if you have the blocks or soup cans or kind of whatever you're using for blocks, this would be a great time to go grab them if you didn't grab them earlier. They are a great use on all of these next poses. However, if you don't have them, don't worry about it. I will show you guys everything without the blocks as well. So from tabletop, your right leg is going to go straight behind you. Toes point down towards the ground. You're going to lift this leg straight out from your hip, pushing back through that heel. Nice and strong through your core. This is just setting us up for our calf stretch. We're going to drop your toes straight down to the ground, push back through your heel for a calf stretch. Wonderful. Next pose we're going to do is a half split. So our right foot comes all the way forward between our two legs, between our two hands. Your toes go up to the ceiling. Your leg is completely straight. Now, this is one of the poses where blocks would be so useful. So I'm going to just grab my blocks to show you. Your blocks can be at any height. So they could be at this medium height. They could be at this tallest height, kind of whatever works for you. Now, if you're super tight and you don't have any blocks, you can actually do this as a balance pose. You can see that my hands are not on my blocks, and I'm getting this nice stretch throughout my hamstring. I have my couch next to me, so I can kind of lean on my couch as well. That's a great option if you don't have blocks. All blocks are doing is bringing the floor up a little bit. If you can see me, when my hands are all the way down to the ground, I'm rounded through my back. As I get more space on these blocks, my back gets straighter and my back gets straighter, and I get a little bit better posture here instead of curving through that back. But again, whatever kind of works for you today in terms of what accessories you may or may not have. Good. From here, we're going to move into a hip flexor stretch. So you're going to bend into your right knee, drop your right toes down, hip blocks would be wonderful underneath your hands to give you some lift. Now here, I'm going to show you, turn to face you right here. Same thing. I want your knee straight over your ankle in this pose. Your knee should not be further than your ankle. Your foot should not be further than your knee. It should line up right over each other. And again, if you don't have blocks, don't worry about it. Your hands can come straight to the ground here. And you should feel this on the left side of your hip flexor. That's the front of your hip. If you're super tight on your hamstring, you might feel it on the right side of your hamstring. Good, we're gonna add in a twist here. So your left hand is going to stay down to the ground. Your right arm is going to come up to the sky. And then notice if your hips are swinging out to the side, try to engage your inner thighs and scissor them together, keeping your legs nice and tight here. You should feel your muscles working for sure. Good, releasing that right hand back down and back to tabletop. Let's do the other side. Left leg straight behind you, toes point down. Leg is nice and straight out from your hip, flexing through those toes, nice and strong. And then from here, drop those toes all the way down to the ground, push back through your heel for this calf stretch. Good, we're gonna go into that half split again. So your left foot comes all the way between your hands, legs straight, toes up towards the ceiling for this half split. Again, hands can come to blocks or books or soup cans, whatever you have handy. All that is doing is bringing the floor up to you. Again, if you're super tight, you can do this as kind of more of a balance pose, or use maybe the couch that's next to you. Or your hands can always come down to the ground. All blocks are doing is creating a bit more space here for your upper body. And just breathing into this nice deep stretch, you should feel this all along the back of your leg, which is your hamstring. And then from here, bending into your left knee, dropping your left toes down, hips drop forward for this hip flexor stretch on the right side. Again, you don't need blocks at all. Hands can come down to the mat. All you need to do is make sure that your left knee is directly over your left ankle. Leaning forward here, feeling this nice opening on the right side of that hip flexor. And again, if you're a little bit tighter, you may feel it in your hamstring on the left side. Our final pose here is this twist, and you can still use a block for the twist as well, or a soup can, whatever you have. Right hand stays down, left arm comes up for that twist. But what I really want you to pay attention to is your hips here and your inner thighs, squeezing those inner thighs together, lifting. Good, slowly releasing back down. Move your blocks or your soup cans or whatever you are using off to the side. From this tabletop position, toes go under, hips go up and back into your down dog. So this may be the first down dog you're doing today. Maybe you've taken many other yoga classes today. That would be wonderful. But what we're doing here is just bending into one knee, bending into the other, shifting your hips side to side. Just getting some movement into this down dog. Now, if you are new to yoga, down dog is fairly simple when you're coming from a tabletop position. You should be within 1 to 2 inches of your down dog. So I'll just review this for those of you who may be new to yoga. If you've done yoga before, you should be staying in your down dog, just kind of existing there until we're ready to move on. So if you're new, all we do from this tabletop position, again, we're lining up our shoulders over our elbows, over our wrists, and our hips directly over our knees. Our toes come under. We start to lift your knees up off the ground and then lift straight up, and then your hips go back towards your heels. Your heels may not reach all the way to the ground. That's totally fine. Your heels may be lifted. That means that your lower back or your hamstrings are a little bit tight. That's totally, totally fine. You should be within 1 to 2 inches of your down dog. Down dog does not take up the full mat. So if you were the whole length of the mat here, that would be too long a down dog. You want to be fairly, probably taking up like 2/3 of your mat with a down dog, I'd say. All right, from here we're going to start on a nice, easy, gentle, modified flow. Just get those hamstrings opened up a little bit more, get some breath with movement going. Big inhale. Exhale, walk your hands back to your feet. Inhaling to a flat back, squeezing those shoulders, engaging that core. Exhale, falling forward. Inhale, rise all the way up through stand, reaching those arms up overhead. Exhale, falling forward. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, hands walk forward into your down dog. So that's our flow. We're going to move through it a handful of more times. You can always move at your own pace and speed, or you can move with me. Big inhale. Exhale, hands walk back to your feet. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fall forward. Inhale, rise all the way up, reach up. Exhale, fall forward. Inhale, flat back. Hands walk forward, down dog. Take a couple breaths here before moving on. Big inhale. Exhale, hands walk back to your feet. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fall forward. Inhale, rise all the way up, reach up. Exhale, fall forward. Inhale, flat back. Hands walk forward, down dog. Let's do 3 more of these. Big inhale. Exhale, hands walk back to your feet. Closing your eyes is a great idea through these. Flat back. Fall forward. All the way up through stand, reaching those arms up overhead. Falling forward. Flat back. Into your down dog. Wonderful. 2 more of these. Big inhale. Exhale, hands walk back to your feet. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fall forward. Inhale, rise all the way up, reach up. Exhale, fall forward. Inhale, flat back. Hands walk forward, down dog. Good. Big inhale. Exhale, hands walk back to your feet. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fall forward. Inhale, rise all the way up, reach up. Exhale, fall forward. Inhale, flat back. Hands walk forward, down dog. Good. Big inhale. Exhale, hands walk back to your feet. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fall forward. Inhale, rise all the way up, reach up. Exhale, fall forward. Inhale, flat back. Hands walk forward, down dog. Wonderful. We're going to learn some warriors today. I had a request for it. I think it was last week. So right leg comes straight up behind you into a 3-legged dog. Now here you can bend your knee and open your hip so that your knee goes towards the ceiling. If that feels good. Then straightening out that right leg. Bringing it forward between your hands. Now, this is very important. If your foot does not land between your hands, you actually need to move it there to get it there. We are aligning everything up for the next couple poses. So you can either use your hand to actually pick it up and move your foot forward, or you can stand yourself up and then walk that right foot forward. We're going to go into a crescent lunge first. So with your crescent lunge, you're all the way up on your back toes. If you look at my back foot, my left foot. My heel is straight up towards the ceiling, as high as it can go. I am bending into my right knee, and my right knee is directly over my ankle. My hips are faced forward towards that right knee. Your arms should be up overhead. Now, if this is too much for you, you can always put your left knee down here as a modification. This is a great modification for the crescent lunge. All right. Arms are up in this crescent lunge. We're breathing, remember, all the way high on those back toes. Nice bend in that right knee. We're gonna go into our warrior two. So from here, our right leg is going to stay exactly where it is. Our left heel is going to rotate down. I'm gonna do that one more time for you guys. Left heel is up, and I just rotate my left heel down. My hips are now faced outwards. So this right leg didn't move at all. The right knee is still exactly over that ankle. My left foot is at this 90-degree angle, so it's perpendicular to where my right leg is. Arms are out to the side for this warrior two. And if you want a more challenging warrior two, you see this right thigh. The more challenging warrior two would be to sink deeper and deeper and deeper to get this right angle. A less intense warrior two is a less deep angle here. So walking those feet together a little bit. So find a spot that's challenging for you. Breathing. So this is our warrior two pose. We're going to reverse our warrior. So your left hand's going to come down to your leg. Your right arm is going to reach over. Now this right leg didn't move at all. It didn't start to straighten out. It kept that nice bend. We're reaching back here. We're going to come forward to our side angle now. So your right arm's going to land on your right thigh. Left arm comes up and overhead. So we're going to try to connect breath with movement here, not using these legs. Your legs should start to hurt during this. So we're going to inhale, reverse. Exhale, side angle. Good, 2 more times. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, side angle. You should feel your obliques working, which is the outsides of your core. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, side angle. Pausing here. Let's return to our warrior two. This is the last one. Your legs should feel like they're burning. Straighten out that front knee now. Hinge forward with your arms towards that right leg as far as you can go. So I'll come back and do that again. I'm really, really reaching as far as I can go. And then my right arm just goes straight down. My left arm comes up for triangle. We're just breathing here. You should feel a nice stretch in the outer hip. Now, this is also a great place for a block. If you have one, it can go under that hand and reach up. Good, let's pull ourselves back up to stand. We're gonna walk this left foot forward towards that right foot. So your left foot is gonna come way in, about like, should be about 1 to 1.5 feet apart between your legs. Now your left foot is pointed towards that left upper corner of your mat. You wanna intertwine your hands behind your back, doing a nice shoulder shrug up and back, lifting through your chest here, taking a big inhale. And then exhale, come all the way forward over that right leg, letting your hands drop over your head as much as possible for pyramid. And then from here, releasing your arms down to the ground or again to a mat, block. the foam roller, whatever you have. Remember, all those things do is just bring the floor a little bit closer to you. Good, walking that left foot all the way forward to the top of your mat. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, fall forward. Inhale, rise all the way up. Reach those arms up overhead. Exhale, fall all the way forward. Inhale to a flat back. Plant your hands, step back into a high plank. Now pause here. Okay, we're gonna do our Chaturanga, which is our high to low plank. It is a great option to pop your knees down to the ground, especially if you are building strength. We want you to come halfway down, elbows into your side. And then chest rises, hips drop forward for a cobra or an upward facing dog. And then hips up and back into your down dog. All right, we've got to move to the left side here. So left leg comes straight up behind you. Bend your knee and open your hip. Knee goes towards the ceiling. And then straightening out that left leg. Bringing it forward between your hands. Remember the importance of getting it between your hands. It sets us up for all of those other poses that we're doing. Stand up into that crescent lunge. So again, you're all the way on those back right toes. Your heel is lifted as high as you can go. You're bending into that left knee. Arms are up here. Now again, a great modification is to bring that right knee down, the right knee down all the way to the ground. And if you feel a little wobbly, which you may in this pose, you want to widen out your stance. So that means bring your right foot closer to the right edge of your mat and your left foot closer to the left edge of your mat. That gives you bigger base to work on. Good. From here, we're going to move into that warrior two. So that right heel drops down, opens our hips up to the side. Do that one more time. If you're already in it, stay there. In this crescent lunge, dropping that right heel down, opening those right hips up, arms out to the side. Now again, the more challenging you want this pose, this left quad is going to be at a lower angle. I'm not doing that today. I'm going to come up to a more comfortable position. And again, if this is challenging where you are, you may want to step it in just a little bit, takes a little bit of pressure off. And that's what's wonderful about yoga. It will meet you where you are today. All right, arms are out to the side. We're going to do those reverse warrior and side angles. So right arm drops, left arm comes up overhead for that reverse warrior. Remember, these legs stay exactly where they are. All we're doing is moving our torso. And then we're going to come forward to side angle. Left arm rests on your left thigh. Right arm comes overhead. Let's connect breath with movement. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, side angle. Two more. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, side angle. Good. One more. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, side angle. Good. Back to that warrior two. We're just here for one more moment. Now, straighten out that left knee. Hinge forward as far as you can go, dropping down into your triangle. Again, under that left hand, this would be a great spot for a block. Pausing here, feeling this nice opening in our hip flexor. Maybe you feel it all the way over into your lower back a little bit. Good, lifting yourself back up. We're gonna walk this right leg forward. So your right and left leg should be about 1.5 feet apart. Take a nice big step forward. Your right toes should be pointing towards the right upper corner of your mat. Intertwine your hands behind you, Big shoulder shrug up and back. Extend your arms back, breathing into your chest. Big inhale. Exhale, fall forward over that left foot. If your hands release, that's fine because we're about to release them down to the ground or down to a block if you have them. For pyramid, just letting your head and neck drop here. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, fall forward. Inhale, rise all the way up through stand, reaching those arms up overhead. Exhale, fall forward. Inhale, flat back. Chaturanga, that high through low plank. So high plank, again, knees down, great option here. I'm doing it halfway down, elbows in, chest forward, hips forward, chest, shoulders back, cobra or upward facing dog into your down dog. Wonderful. Let's come down to tabletop. We're going to end up laying on our backs. So however you would like to get there. I like to cross my ankles over and then roll over my feet, but that's because my hips are open, so it allows me to do that. Tighter hips, you probably won't be able to do that. So let's just meet laying on our backs. Bring your knees into the chest, rocking side to side or back and forth. Good, keeping your knees bent, release your feet down to the ground, crossing your right ankle over your left knee, grabbing behind your left thigh, pulling into your chest for figure four. You should feel a nice stretch on that right outer hip. Maybe you'd like to close your eyes here. We're just a few poses away from our Shavasana. So we're just kind of prepping our body a little bit, getting these nice few stretches in before we end up in Shavasana. Good, slowly release and then switch sides. Cross your left ankle over your right knee, grab behind your right thigh, pull into your chest for figure four. Good, both knees come back into your chest. We're gonna go into happy baby. So your knees go out wide towards your armpits, grabbing behind your thighs, your calves or your feet here. And then you can stay stationary or maybe rock side to side. Wonderful, knees come back into your chest. We're gonna go into our spinal twist. Both knees fall to the right side, head goes to the left for your spinal twist. And if you'd like a deeper spinal twist today, feel free to move into it now. You can extend that right leg straight or maybe that left leg straight. Tons of different options here. I'm going to stick with my knees stacked one on top of the other. Then slowly let's rotate through center to the other side, both knees to the left, head to the right for, again, that spinal twist. And again, moving into a different spinal twist if that feels good for you. Again, trying to close your eyes and just relax your body here. Good, rotating back to center, hugging those knees in one more time. Moving into a full body stretch, arms up overhead, legs out straight, really reaching up, feeling nice and long here, taking a big inhale. And a big exhale, dropping your arms down by your sides for Shavasana. So I encourage you, because most of you are at home, to grab things like grab a sweatshirt to make you a little bit more comfortable, or grab your pillow or your blanket, and then lay back down. Now in yoga, traditionally, you would be laying on your back, legs splayed open, palms up towards the ceiling. However, move into whatever position is most comfortable for you today. Once you've found that position, start to relax each and every muscle. Possibly doing a body scan from the top of your head all the way down to your legs and your feet and your toes. Just clenching and releasing each muscle. Once your body is relaxed, start to relax your mind, attempting to let go of all thoughts and feelings. If you notice a thought start to come into your head, just try to let it slip away. Maybe shutting behind a door, evaporating into the air. Whatever you need to do to just completely let go. Slowly taking a deep inhale and a big exhale. Slowly starting to move your fingers and your toes. Bending your knees and curling up on one side of your body. While curled up, take this moment to release something, some stress, some annoyance, some anger. We all have them. Maybe it's something big or something small. Taking this moment to choose to just let go, to create space and open yourself up for more wonderful things to come in. Slowly coming all the way up to seated. Either resting your hands on your knees or maybe bringing your hands to heart center. Together, let's take one last deep inhale. Big clearing exhale. And with gratitude, namaste. Thank you all so much. I hope you enjoyed class today. Again, I will be on the chat function for the next couple minutes to answer any questions that you may have. You can use the chat function or